Welcome. In this session, we are going to understand segment tree data structures in C++. In computer science, a segment tree is a tree data structure for storing intervals or segments. It allows querying which of the stored segments contain a given point. It is, in principle, a static structure, that is, it's a structure that cannot be modified once it's built. Let's get started with how segment tree looks like and how we can develop a C++ program in order to create a segment tree data structure. To get started, we'll proceed to the website visualgo.net. On this website here, you can see that you can proceed to the URL visualgo.net English segment tree, and here you can see that there is a quick information of segment tree available. A segment tree can be created of three types. One is minimum segment tree, maximum segment tree, and sum based segment tree. For this demonstration, we are taking an example of minimum segment tree, and I would like to get started with a basic example first. First of all, I would like to keep it a little slow animation. I would like to get started with a sample example. In order to develop segment tree, binary search trees are used, and we can prefer to use array data structure in order to store the values which we want to use inside segment tree. So now let's say I would like to create a program in which I would like to specify a range of some elements, somewhat like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I would like to create an element of these 5 elements. And now you can see that once the process has been done, you can see that the first section of this animation displays a segment tree, and at the bottom we have an array structure which is holding data inside every individual index. So now what we have to do is, given a set of array with a set of elements, we are going to create a segment tree. After creation of a segment tree, we are going to perform some operations like range query, and we are going to update a point or a range inside this segment tree. So now we are going to understand how range query can be processed. After creation of your segment tree, you can proceed to range query. You can specify a left element and a right element. Left element will specify a minimum range value, right element will specify the maximum range value, and any element which falls between this left and right element will be considered as a segment inside this particular range. So now what we want to do is, we want to perform a range query, and let's say I would like to perform a range query from 2 to 3, somewhat like this, and I would like to get an element which has the minimum value. So in this case, you can see that on the second index we have value 3, and on third index we have value 4. So once we are going to compute the minimum segment tree, we are going to get the minimum segment as 3, because 3 is eventually smaller than 4. So now in order to proceed, we are going to click on go. Once we proceed to go, you can see that we are going to perform some lazy flag. We are going to perform an RMQ at left child. We are going to perform an RMQ at the right child. Then we are going to compute the value of the left child and comparison with the value of the right child. And once we are done, we are going to return the value. So now in this case, once all the animations have been done, now we are going to get an answer, and we are going to get an index that 2 is a minimum segment within the range specified. So on index 2 we have a value 3. So this is how we can make use of segment tree, and later what we can do is, we can make use of a range update method in order to modify a value. Let's say I would like to modify a value index 2, hence I am taking L and R as the same value, and I would like to modify it to a sample value somewhat like 100. So let's say if we proceed, now you can see that index 2 will be processed, and let's say I would like to specify a value somewhat between 99. So let's say I would like to take some value somewhat like 50. We'll go, we're going to click on the animation. Now range query will be tested. Once the range has been identified, we are going to modify the index number 2, and you can see that 50 has been replaced at index number 2. So this is how you can see that a range can be modified as well. So we are going to perform these 3 methods. We are going to create a segment tree in C++, we are going to perform a range query in C++, and finally we are going to update the range or update a point within the segment tree. So let's get started. In order to create, we can see a simple example, and we can see the logical code available here. You can see that if this L node is equal to the right node, then we are going to return the L node. Otherwise, we are going to build the left child and we are going to build the right child. And once we are done with building of these childs, now we are going to proceed to compute left child versus right child, and finally we are going to return a value, and this return value will be a segment tree. So now let's get started. We are going to use Visual Studio in order to get started with writing a program for segment tree. We are going to create a new project, and this project will be a Windows C++ application. I'm going to call it as segment tree data structure. So now I would like to create a program somewhat like this here. We're going to finish. A new program will be created for us. We like to increase the size. Let's increase the size of the screen here. Now what next we want to do? We want to modify these parameters, and now here we like to change the main method to main method, and we like to get started with writing the code. So in this application, first of all, we are going to take an array structure in which we are going to take values. We are going to convert that into a vector, and then we are going to process vector with the help of segment tree data structure. We are going to perform range query, we are going to perform modification of the point, and we are going to perform the final demo. Now in order to do that, first of all, I would like to include vector inside this application. So we are going to make use of vectors. Then we like to make use of a math class, or let's say we would like to use IOStream in order to perform the functions. I would like to make use of a namespace, that is using namespace std, so that we can make use of vectors easily within our application. Now in order to do that, first of all, I would like to create an array, and this array is going to be an integer array, and within this integer array I would like to make an application, or I would like to fill in values from 1 to 5. Now once the values has been holded or put into this array, we are going to create a vector integer. And now what we want to do, this vector integer will be considered as a, and we are going to copy this array into this vector. So we are going to specify from array index to array index of the last element, and actually here we have these 5 elements, 1 2 3 4 5, so we want to put up till 5. Now once we are done with this, we are going to create a segment tree data structure, and this segment tree data structure will be created using a. And once we are done with this creation of this segment tree, now we are going to perform some methods here, and the methods which we want to perform will be a cout. And here, in order to perform cout, what we want to do, we want to specify the range query. Let's say we like to say range query on, from the minimum range, left range would be, let's say, index number 1, and the max range will be that index number 4. So from 1 to 4 we will be searching, and we want to perform a range query here. So in that segment tree, we are going to define a method known as range query, and I'm going to define it as RMQ, and within this RMQ I'm going to define a minimum value and a maximum value, and whatever value is returned will be displayed here. Later what we want to do is we want to modify, so we want to put something like segment tree dot update point. And in order to update this point, I would like to specify an index. Let's say I would be specifying index number 4 as the value which we want to update, and I would like to modify it, or let's say I would like to take index value as 3, which we want to modify, or let's say we want to put in a high value or a small value in order to test the minimum range. So let's say since 1 will be the least element at the moment once the segment tree has been initialized, so I would like to modify 1, and I would like to replace that with some value like 50. So this will be the update query, and once update point has been done, now again we want to print the cout, and we want to see the difference between the range which has been done. So now in order to do this, we need to have a segment tree data structure which can process these queries easily for us. So we are going to create a data structure known as segment tree here. Let's create a class segment tree, and this segment tree class is going to receive a constant vector. And now what we want to do, let's say we want to receive a constant vector here. We like to specify that constant vector, or let's say we are going to define that in a constructor. So here we have a class, and within this class we are going to define some private and public spaces wherein we will be defining our methods. So first of all, we'll be defining 3 public methods. One will be the constructor. So let's create the constructor. Constructor is a method which does not have a return type and is created with the same name as of class. And now this is going to receive a constant vector of integer, and within this vector of integer I'm going to call it as an address of the vector A, which I would like to take. And once the constructor has been done, using this we are going to create a constructor for segment tree, and once the constructor is executed and segment tree has been built, we are going to execute a method, the range query, in which we are going to specify a value or a range value. So let's say we would like to specify a range from I to j, and we want to check the minimum segment available within this range. So we are going to return that here, and later what we want to do is, once we are done, we are going to return something like this. We are going to return a value, and here we are going to execute a private method rmq, and within this private method rmq we are going to check from the point 1 and from the minimum range as 0 up till a range of n minus 1, and the values I and j will be specified, and finally we are going to get the minimum segment between the range I and j. Once we are done with this, we are going to create a method to update point, and in order to update point we are going to have a few values here, and here we are going to specify an integer position p which has to be modified, and we will be specifying a new value which we want to put in. And now what next we want to do is, you can specify a position or you can also specify it as index. Let's call it as index. So now what we want to do is, we are going to return the update point value for this specific index, and we again going to create a private method known as update point, which is going to take the point, it's going to take the minimum range, it's going to the maximum number of elements, and then we are going to supply an IDX information and the new value information which has to be replaced. So these methods will be created. Now the next, we have to build the segment tree. In order to build a segment tree, we need to have a build method, and in order to create that build method, let's get started. So what we want to do, we want to create a public vector, and this vector will be an integer vector a, and this vector a is going to hold the values here for us. And now I'm going to create an a vector, and I'm going to store the values from the received constructor. Once the values have been done, now we want to get the size of the vector which we have received. So we are going to create an integer n, and within this integer n we are going to get the size of the vector. So in order to do that, we are going to execute a method a.size, using which we are going to get the size of the integer of the segment tree, or you can say of the vector. And once we have got that size, we are going to create a segment tree vector. So let's just call it as, we are going to create a public vector known as segment tree as well, and we are going to assign a segment tree. We are going to create a vector with 4 times size of n, which is specified, or the number of elements in an array, because we just want to create a large vector in which we will be putting all zeros at all the index at the initial time, and later we are going to build the vector. In order to build the vector, we are going to specify the position 1, the minimum range as 0, and up till n minus 1. So whatever number of elements are present in a vector, we are going to create a segment tree till that number. So once the segment tree will be created, the segment tree will be created with a method known as build. So now we are going to specify these methods, and later we are going to specify the methods like rmq and update point as well. So now let's get started by creating a build method here. So this build method would be a void build method, and within this build method we are going to receive an integer position intp, then we are going to receive the left position and the right position of the range, and then we are going to get started with build. And now what next we want to do is, we want to create an integer rmq method as well, and within this rmq we are going to receive an integer p, we are going to receive an integer l, we are going to receive an integer r, that is the right value of the range, the max value. Then we are going to receive an integer I and an integer j, within which we are going to perform our range query. And I would like to update the point value, and in order to update the point value we are going to specify another method in which we are going to take p, we are going to take the left range, we are going to take the right range, and then we are going to take an integer index, and then we are going to take an integer new value which we will be receiving. So all these values will be taken, and now you can see that RMQ and update point method have been ready in order to process. So now we have to write code for the build method at the moment so that we can build our segment tree. So in order to build our segment tree, first of all we are going to check if left is equal to right, then we are going to return the segment tree somewhat like this. If L is equal to R, if this value is here, we are going to return, or we are going to specify somewhat like this, st of p will be L if the value is equal. Else we are going to build the left node and we are going to build the right node. So in order to build the left node, we are going to take in left of the p position. We are starting with the very first position. So here we have to specify two more methods, and these methods will be the left method and the right method. So I'm going to create a left method in which we are going to create an integer p, and this left method is going to return the current position and specified with a left shift, and we're going to go for a right shift as well, a right element as well. So we can take this integer p and we're going to return a value from p left shift, and we are going to add the next value of the child. So we are going to add it somewhat like this. So using this left and right method, we'll be able to access the left node and right node of a position. So once the position has been specified, we are going to get the left node and right node. So in order to build the left node, we are going to specify left, and then we have to specify L plus R divide by 2 in order to get the positions. So using this, we are going to build the left node, then we are going to build the right child of the position, and to do that we are going to specify L plus R divide by 2 plus 1, and then we have to specify the right element. So once the right element has been done, both the elements will be built, and now once the element has been built, we are going to get the integer position p1, and p1 will be st. We are going to get the segment tree left of p, and here we are going to get the position for p2 as well. So we are going to get st right of p. Once we have got the rightmost element of the p, now what we are going to do, we are going to perform a computation check. Let's say we want to get the position of that element, the segment at that particular position. So we want to check that which one is the minimum. So we want to arrange the order of the segment tree in the minimum segment tree format. So in order to do that, we are going to specify, we are going to take the vector a of position p1, and if it is smaller or equal to a of p2, so we are going to use a conditional statement here. If this is equal to this, so we are going to return p1, otherwise we are going to return p2. So now this is how our segment tree will be built. Once our segment tree has been built, now we have to perform a range query and we have to perform an update point query. So in order to do that, first of all, we are going to check whether if I and j does not belong to the range of left node and right node, then we are going to perform somewhat like this. If our I node is greater than R, or j node is smaller than L, somewhat like this, we are going to test. So we are going to return -1 at the moment, because this is like an indefinite range, because our elements does not belong to the range, so we are going to return -1 here. Moreover, then we are going to check if any one of the value is outside the range. So we are going to check somewhat like this. If L is greater, equal to I and N, if R is smaller equal to J. So let's say I and J is outside the range, or somewhat like this, if any of these things occurs. So now what we are going to do, we are going to return the current node of the segment tree, because we are going to return the segment. So we are going to return the segment tree of that particular position. Now once both of the conditions have been tested, now we are going to identify the position 1 and position 2 with respect to our minimum segment tree. So in order to do that, we are going to create integer of p1 and p2, and now what we want to do is we are going to identify p1. So p1 will be an RMQ query in which we are going to build the left position. We are going to specify L, and we are going to specify L plus R, and herein what we are going to do, L plus R divide by 2. So that will be an RMQ query, and we are going to specify I and J as well. So we are going to get the position. We are going to get the position for point 2 as well for the right element. So once we get the right element position, we are going to specify L plus R divide by 2 plus 1. So that will be like the next element which we are taking, and moreover we are going to specify the right element, I and J element. And once we are done with this, so now what next we want to do? Now we want to compute what we are going to return. So we are going to check, we are going to return ST of P, and within this ST of P we are going to check whether our alpha of position 1 is smaller equal to from the vector of position 2. If this is true, so we are going to return P1, or else we are going to return P2. So somewhat like this, we are going to return the range value here. So whatever segment which has been identified with respect to this P1 and P2 will be returned. So from this RMQ query, we are going to get values in return, and now we have to update the point. So in order to update the point, now what next we have to do? We can also check whether P1 and P2 is outside as well, so we can check that as well. So in case we want to check if somewhat like if P1 is equal to -1 and it's outside the range, so what we can do is we can return P2 in this case. Moreover, we are going to check another statement. If P2 is equal to -1, then in that case we are going to return the P1 element as well. So once both of these things are done, so finally we are going to return our standard, or else since we don't want to replace the value at the moment, so we can simply return the value of P1 and P2, and later what we want to do is in update point we want to put the value within ST segment 3 of that P position. So to do this, what next we want to do? Now we want to check whether the values are available within the range or not. In case if the values are not in range, we are going to return the current node, and in case if the values are inside range and the modification is correct, so we are going to replace the value. So now in this case we are going to check if your I value is greater than R, and or if your J value is smaller than L. So somewhat like this. So we are going to check these value I and R. So first of all we are going to take the values for I and J as well. Integer I is equal to IDX, we want to save that value. Integer J will also be IDX at the moment, because at this moment we are writing a method for updating a point, not for a range, but later we can proceed to write codes for a range as well. So now since we are going to get this particular value, in this case we are going to return the current node which is here. And what next we want to do? Now we are going to take in the position for P1 and P2, and now we want to check P1 is equal to, we are going to update the point, or else we want to check one more thing somewhat like this. So what we can do is we are going to check if L is equal to I and R is equal to J. If both the values are equal, then in this case we are going to update the value to L. So now value will be modified, or not L. What we can do is we can simply replace the value with the new value which we want to print. So we actually have to replace not the segment tree, but actually we have to replace the vector. So we want to change the vector of that ith element with the new value, and then we want to return the index of our segment tree. So we are going to return the index of the segment tree, and we are going to change the value to L, which is the left node or the minimum range value. Once this is done, now we are going to put in values for P1, and in order to do that we are going to execute an update point method in which we are going to get updated for the left node. We are going to specify L, then we are going to specify L plus R. We are going to divide that by 2, and then we have to specify an integer value of I and J, or the IDX or the new value which we want to test. So IDX and the new value which we have. And later what next we want to do? We want to update another point, and we want to get the position of that. So we are going to update the point with the right value, and here we will have this P, we are going to have L plus R, we are going to divide that by 2, we are going to add in plus 1, then we are going to specify the right range, we are going to specify the index, we are going to specify the value, and then we are going to process this position 1 and position 2, and finally we are going to compute the position of P in this case. So we are going to check if A of P1 is smaller equal to A of P2, then we are going to execute P1 or P2, somewhat like this. So now we are going to return this value st of P, and the points will be updated at the moment. So now, since we are done with coding of segment tree, now what next we want to do is we want to test this application. Within this application, you can see that at the moment we have a range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are going to copy that. We are going to create the segment tree. We are going to execute cout. We are going to get a range 1 of 4. We are going to get the minimum value, and here in this answer we are going to get 1 as the minimum value. Then we are going to modify 1 as 50. Then in this case the index will change to 2 as the minimum value available in the segment tree. So segment tree is a static data structure. Once it is built, it does not made to be modified, but you can modify the value at an individual index level. So now further we are going to test this application, and in order to test this application we are going to run it using local Windows debugger. To run this application, let's click on local Windows debugger now. Now we want to build it, and in case if we encounter any error, we will land up to the debugger section. So let's click on yes, and now we'll see if the range query has been specified properly. We won't get this unhandled exception. So now what we want to do is we want to quickly break it, and we want to quickly check it that once we are trying to access the left element, we are not able to access that left element. So what we'll do, we'll just quickly review our RMQ, which is the range query, and here inside we can see that once we are trying to access the left node, it has been done. But once we will be trying to access the right node, here we have to specify the correct range, because this has to be divided with 2 and plus 1, that will be the next rth index. So once we have got these index values available, we have both of these information available. Now we are going to save that, and we are going to stop it. And now once more we want to do is we are going to run this application. We are going to test this. Once the test has been performed, the answer we have received. Now we need to specify one element like get character method here, and using this get character your screen won't fade away. We're going to save it. Let's click on run. We'll test this application. Once we say yes, now your segment tree ds.cpp will be built, and here you can see that we have got the range query. We have executed the range query from the index number 1 till index number 4, and we have got the minimum segment within this range is 1. And once we have modified the value to 50, and now once we have executed, you can see that we have identified that minimum segment on 1 and 4, between the range 1 and 4 is 2, because 2 holds the value of 3 at the moment. So this is how your segment tree data structure works. And in case if you want to modify a little element somewhat like this, let's say if you want to modify the value from 2 element, because at the moment 2 has been printed, so we want to remove the index from 2 to 35, somewhat like this. Let's say we have put that into 35, and now what we want to do is we want to again perform the query from 1 to 4, and now we'll check. In this case, once the query is performed, we are going to get that the minimum segment is 3. So using this range query and modification of the value, you can make use of segment tree data structure. In competitions, segment tree data structure is one of the most important data structure, wherein you can use these data structure whenever you have to store intervals. So let's run this application again. The application will be built, and we are going to get the modified values. So now in this case, you can see that once the index 2 has been modified, now the range query specifies that the minimum segment between range 1 to 4 is 3. So this is how you can make use of segment tree. In competitions, we don't have any STL library available for segment tree. So in case if you want to make use of segment tree within your competitions, you have to write your own data structure segment tree. And once you have written your segment tree data structure, it should be functional with these 3 functions. One is to build, second is to identify the range, and third is to modify a range or a point within the segment. So thank you for watching this session.